So, anyways, welcome. Back. I don't even know what episode this is. It's been a few weeks. I'm sorry, all my listeners out there. It's been a few weeks. Been busy, but this is Bombing Diaries. What's up? I'm Gearin. Yeah, it's been busy. Just been out there, just kind of transitioning phases from working a lot, getting new jobs, interviewing, because you gotta have multiple jobs in this town. One job to keep you afloat if it's consistent, and then you need another job to help, you know, for the savings. Um, that's the price we pay. That's the price we pay to live in this beautiful place where the sun is out all the time. Um, yeah, what happened this last few weeks though? Went and did some mics. Um, and yeah, it was good. Get back out there. Even went to the NoHo Fourth Wall. Shout out to them. Went to the cafe. Went to, I believe it's the best. I think it's the best neighborhood open mic. I think it's in I think off Melrose. Went there last few weeks, but did the other day did four in a row, not in a row, but four different mics, three different locations, which was great. Got to see some people I hadn't seen in a while, and then also was in rooms with everything from people I had never met before, which is great. A lot of new faces for me, and then also different backgrounds, age, race, gender, all this stuff. So being able to try out my material and see how it works was good. For the most part, I'd say so far what I've been working on has been great. Okay, not great, but I would say definitely working. Again, when I do playback and I listen to it, it's not as maybe not as oh, that was amazing as it felt in the room, but definitely I felt the energy. There was one mic where everybody was attentive, but they weren't like, you could tell they all knew each other. They didn't know me. So me getting them on my side was a little bit harder. But they still were supportive and smiles. And then I got laughs, and then what I end with seems to be working, which is nice. But that was a good mic because it then forced me to, I was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do my 5 minutes that I've been working on, that I want to do if I get time at certain places. And so I was just like, regardless of how it goes, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work it, do it to where I don't have to look at my notes, and let's just go through it and time it out. And it worked out to 5 minutes. There were a few things that I kind of ad-libbed on that I don't think I would want to keep. They kind of threw me off, but that's what it's for. Now I know certain things work or not. Some of the other mics, I riffed a little bit, maybe riffed on what other comics were doing, maybe even worked on things that were that I had been writing for the last week or so, just to kind of premises that I wanted to work on, and then would even sprinkle in some of the 5 minute stuff to like kind of have, because I realize a lot of people do that. They'll do their typical set that everybody knows, like unless you've seen them constantly, you don't know that, but they'll do their typical thing. They're like, oh, cool, I've heard this over and over again, but they'll like have a few jokes that they hear over and over again because they know it gets you on their side, and they'll end with it, so they'll end with their good stuff too, so they can leave you with a good taste in your mouth. But the middle stuff is when they usually try out new stuff. So that's kind of how I was basing it, especially doing 4 different mics, and just playing around with that. It felt good, felt awesome. Even hung out at the store afterwards, so that was good. And yeah, it's been a crazy, again, like I said though, with work, budgeting bills, figuring out how much money you're behind or not behind, while also still trying to do this whole thing called the dream. It's hard, it's it is one of those, like, I definitely feel good after doing that the other day, and I feel better about the set a little bit more, and knowing that when that time comes that I am on a show or something, which I have one in August, I think, at the cafe, which is nice. I'm just reaching out more for these smaller places to get my face out there, get, in front of real audience and stuff, and I do feel comfortable about it, but I think the nervousness is always going to be there. That's just who I am. I do overthink a lot of things, but it's just, and I try not to, but I do. And it gets to me. I mean, shit, that's why I had ulcers, and that's why, my acid reflux has been so bad again recently, because of the domino effect of job hunting and also getting the stage time, and also, just trying to really, balance it all and figure it all out, while knowing you have to give up some things, while not trying to also give up on what gets you up in the day. When I was doing the mics, I definitely, there were moments. I'm getting better at eye contact. I don't even like doing eye contact in real life, but with people, but doing that and like connecting them, which I notice more now, even with watching other comics or even open micers, and seeing the confidence of just, the difference between someone who's like confident and looks you in the eye and is having a conversation with you, and then someone who is just like reciting it. Which some people, that is even people who've been doing it for years, that is their style. They just say it straight. But there is a sense of like, I saw a few people, 2 people for sure, who were like, they're funny, but it was definitely straight down the barrel, not even looking at anybody. It was just like straight, which I get it. It's nerve-wracking. So I'm like now trying to, just make more eye contact, have a conversation, kind of like get them to realize, hey, I'm looking at you. We're having a conversation. But it is funny when sometimes, you'll have people in the front who are just still just kind of just like, okay. Especially ones who are just comics anyways, and they're like, I just want to get out of here. I want to leave. This is fine. I already did my time. Or, oh, I might be up next or whatever. And kind of just, I stare at them to get them to like kind of respond and give some kind of a smile and realize, oh yeah, I'm paying attention to you. I'm also trying to get better at bringing the audience into it, which again for open mics is a little bit harder because it's usually just comics who are like, I don't care. But I feel like I can see it being a little bit more acceptable recently since getting back into it than when I first started. Because it used to be like, don't do crowd work with me. Don't ask me questions. Like, just do your bits. That's how it was 4 years ago. Now it's like, it's such a thing that people need to do that they're understanding of it. So a lot of people actually start their stuff with crowd work, even if it is us going like, hey, does anybody does anybody pay for laundry, or do you have your own laundry? And maybe there's stuff's about that. Or, hey, is anybody married? Even though it's like 6 of us, and it's to just get into that repertoire to bring the audience into it, because that's honestly, unfortunately, that's how it works now. Got to bring the audience into it, make them think they're a part of it. They want to be a part of it. They want to pick a card, and they want you to pick their card, So, yeah, definitely working on that more. Let me see. I did have a worse moment on stage recently. Honestly, no, because even in the moments where it's silent, I just keep going. Like I said, the one moment where I was doing the mic where I just went right through my material to do it, it wasn't, I did catch myself feeling, so when I was doing a mic and I could catch myself where it was like kind of just plateauing in a sense, where I didn't feel like laughs were coming where I felt they should have, I did catch myself kind of speeding up and kind of and that's where I ad-libbed a bit, which then I forgot where I was, and so that portion. But even then, I am proud of myself for just following through and then ending it ending it the same way that I wanted to, and it still got the laugh and ended the way I could. And even afterwards, people say, "No, that was great, that's funny." So like even when they weren't saying it, that's why it's so hard to really understand if the mic is going good or not. Because it's not always you're getting that gratification of over laughter of anything. And so that's probably for what I was thinking as far as when I was just really recapping, especially that day. New jokes that I tried out. Again, I didn't really try out new ones. It was more like topical things that might not even be used ever again because they're more topical. Talking about the whole Drake Kendrick beef stuff, which again other people are talking about, so I just talked about it. Which was good. It kind of gave me something to talk about as far as like the idea of there's that beef, and then made me think about how everybody in music samples things, and that makes me realize, oh, you can sample music and it's not stealing, I guess, in a sense, as long as you ask for permission and it samples. And like in movies, they're all the same plot twist, but like if I say certain things or like hold the mic a certain way or, enunciate in a certain way because of like, say it's a comic that I like, people jump on you and go, oh, you took that, you're just acting like them. So there's something in there that I was talking about. Again, it's not funny saying now, but it was definitely it was something I riffed off of. This week for sure, I learned a lot this week, making it the sense of what did I learn though? I mean, we all just want to be connected, Everybody wants to connect in some form. That's why we go to comedy shows. That's why people laugh, because it's relatable and we feel connected to it. Sometimes it's even the most outlandish thing you're talking about, but it's still in a sense of reality. And it's like, I can't believe there's someone like that, but it's coming from you. And that's where, a lot of the stories connect with it. And I feel like that's what I like, is just being able to, I can see my brain working more that way, like even now, the 5 minutes that I'm working with, I'm still just like, oh, I can add that, or that transition, or I could connect the dots that way, or, oh, there's another tag I can add to that, or another tag I can add, trying to make it to where there's a constant laughing moment every few seconds, that's kind of the key factor of it. So like, I might have a joke, and then I fully flesh it out, and now I'm trying to get even more. So it's a good, again, type 5, and that just takes time getting up there. Like I haven't done 4 mics in one day probably ever, honestly, but at least more than 3 in a long time, or at least 3, I'm saying, in a long time in one day. And that is like, you learn the most from it, because there are some times where like, there was even a moment where I was going to stay for another mic, and I realized, oh, it's the same people in the room. Am I going to grow from that? No, probably not. Was it a good mic before? It was a good mic. Usually if it's a good mic and you have the same people in the room, the next mic, it's usually not a good mic. So leave all your head. So that's why it's like, I kind of look at it. Luckily, you're able to see the list. Not always, but for this style, you're able to see who's kind of going to be there. So then I also kind of do that. I'm like, okay, I've seen these people. I want to see them again. But then there's sometimes where I'm like, you know what? I want to try out this material that I've tried out with them already. So I want to try it out with somebody new and see how it works, and then tweak it. And then now that I've tweaked a little bit, now I want to go back. Now it's been a few weeks, because that's also a hurdle I'm trying to get over, is redoing the same material over and over again. That's the hardest thing for me, is saying the same thing, especially knowing if there's one person in that audience who's heard it before. I was like, oh, they've heard it before. But again, that's why I like going to the store and listening to the comics do the same material, which again, it's not for the same audiences. I get that, but that's the point. You will get to that point, hopefully, where you're not performing for the same people. Or if you do, they're coming back because they love the joke. There's tons of people I watch who are up and coming who I hear the same jokes every night, and I love it every time. Like, that's the type where I want it to be, where it's just like, oh, he's going to say that joke tonight? Sweet. You know, like I want that to be the case. I want that, my material to be that way. Like, Garen, talk about that time when you did this, or mention this moment, or talk about that joke. I want that to be. But for that, I have to jump over the hurdles of being okay and being comfortable saying the same thing over and over again with the same energy, the same, the way I say it. So that's kind of why forcing myself in that one mic to just say it, even if it didn't get a laugh, but just knowing like it's got enough laughs before and it's got enough reaction before that it is funny enough. It just might not work, you know, but it did hinder a little bit. It did make me question it a bit, but I had to just kind of throw that out the wayside. But still take into account, like when I listen back and see, okay, how did I say it? Oh, I probably sped up there, so I probably shouldn't have. Which I honestly did. I said something a different way in the joke than I normally did. And that alone, just even like 2 sentences, flipping certain words, really did, I think, change the way it came off and the way the audience perceived it. I would say, let's see. Anything in the news? Anything happened recently in the news? Anything? Nothing? Nothing in the news? I heard some senior citizens, that's what everybody keeps saying. It's the same topic over and over again. Senior citizens. I like just when things pop up on my phone, and it's, you know, it's all clickbait, it's all things. You don't know the full story, but like even hearing about something happening, I think Biden got something happened in Air Force One. I don't know. I haven't even looked into it. I just know it popped up, and that's what's coming up. But I'm like, I think of Succession and how the one main guy, he died in the airplane. I'm like, oh no, that's what I thought of right away. I'm like, that's going to be crazy. Like if this is exactly how the writers would play it out, if this was what was going to happen, you know. It just, you don't know anymore. You don't know. We don't know what's happening. This is crazy. This is what's happening right now. Like the fact that at the restaurant that I work at was probably the busiest it's been in a while on 4th of July, which is usually a let's go cook out and hang out and all this stuff. That tells you something. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then also the fact that it's not really that many fireworks that I heard. I mean, there was a lot. Again, I live in a town that I'm not anywhere near a place where they probably have fireworks a lot. Like there was here, but everywhere else I saw videos and photos, you know. And how many of us actually do those videos and photos? Like, and video them and then rewatch them again. Like, honestly. Like, it just takes up memory. And, so yeah, I don't know. It was a weird holiday, especially being on a Thursday. I think it was the first one I've worked probably ever, or in at least years that I can remember. But yeah, it was just weird. It's just weird, you know. It just kind of came and went. I guess I sit back and go, be grateful to live in this country, to have the opportunity, because I know it is worse other places. But, you know, still having to work on the holiday shows that, yeah, I gotta work to make the money, you know. If I was doing that much better, then you wouldn't have to work on the holiday. I think we should all have off on the holiday, but we can't even afford it. It's one of those, like, even if we were closed, I probably would have not wanted that because I still need the money. I don't know. That's just random rambling. But yeah, again, trying to be more consistent with this. Sorry. It's been busy. I just can't wait to get more consistent with things, even if it means working 2 jobs, but then the jobs I'm trying to get are working around the schedule, even getting some editing gigs and stuff. Working around to still do comedy at night. That's the thing that I really want to focus on if I'm going to focus on anything, but I still have to say yes to money. So that's, you know, this is the bombing diaries, you know, and not just on stage, in life, you know. Sometimes we bomb. Sometimes things just don't work out. Sometimes you got to rewrite the script and you got to figure it out. Take bullet point, scratch it out, and go, that didn't work. How else can I do it? And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what it is, you know. It's the Bombing Diaries. It's not just about stage time. It's also about what you do in your life and how you bounce back from it. So thank you guys for listening. Comment, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Comment a firework emoji on the post that you see if you got to this point. And yeah, thank you so much. And hold for helicopter. Perfect timing. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Peace.